Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Do you ever find yourself scrolling through countless self-help channels, reading every self-improvement book you can get your hands on, watching video after video, just absorbing all this information? And then, nothing. You never actually take action. Sound familiar? Does it feel like you're stuck on this hamster wheel of consuming content, but you're not seeing any real lasting change in your life? Listen, you are not alone. Here's the thing, and I'm going to be straight with you. Consuming information alone won't get you the results you want. You can read all the books, watch all the videos, but at some point, you have to take action. You have to take that knowledge, put it to the test in the real world, and then reflect on your progress. That's how you make real, measurable changes. And that's exactly why I designed the format of these videos with one goal in mind: to inspire reflection, self-awareness, and most importantly, action. Every single video on this channel is an invitation. It's an invitation to hit pause on that endless scroll, to take a step back from the noise, and to really reflect and evaluate your own life. It's time for you to stop being just a consumer of information and start being a producer of your own success. Our goal here isn't just to share wisdom, it's to encourage you to actively engage with it, to really think about how it applies to you and your life, and then to make decisions that align with your dreams and goals. So if you're serious, and I mean truly serious, about creating lasting change and aligning your actions with your goals, then you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep, my friends, into the power of self-assessment, self-awareness, and reflection. These are the tools that, when used intentionally, can unlock your true potential. Let's break down how these powerful practices can help you get from where you are to where you want to be. Let's talk about self-assessment. This is one of the most crucial steps in any personal growth journey. It's about taking a long, hard, honest look at yourself, your behaviors, your actions, the emotions you experience, the decisions you make, and holding nothing back. It's about taking the measure of your own performance and asking yourself some tough questions. What's working in my life? What's not working? Why do I keep getting stuck in certain patterns? And how can I break free from them? You know, Socrates famously said, "An unexamined life is not worth living." And he was right. Without self-assessment, without that willingness to look inward, we're just going through life on autopilot. We're not really present, not really aware of the patterns and habits that are holding us back. But here's the thing. When you practice honest self-assessment, you shine a light on those blind spots. You gain the clarity to make better decisions, to avoid those dead ends and detours that keep leading you astray, and to create a roadmap for real, lasting personal growth. Think about it this way. You can't improve what you don't measure. So how do you actually do this? How do you make self-assessment a regular part of your life? It's simpler than you might think. Start by setting aside some time each week. Maybe it's Sunday evening as you're getting ready for the week ahead. Or maybe it's Friday afternoon as you're winding down. Find a quiet space where you can be alone with your thoughts, grab a notebook or open up a fresh document on your laptop, and just start writing. Ask yourself those tough questions. What went well this week? Where did I struggle? What am I avoiding? What am I doing that's actually moving me closer to my goals? What's one small thing I can do differently next week? And here's a pro tip. Don't just focus on the negative. It's just as important to acknowledge and celebrate your wins, no matter how small they might seem. Recognizing your accomplishments, even the seemingly insignificant ones, will give you the motivation and momentum to keep going. Now, I know this can be uncomfortable. Believe me, I've been there. It's not always easy to take a hard look at ourselves and confront the areas where we're falling short. But trust me, this is where the growth happens. This is how you break free from those self-sabotaging patterns and start living a life that's more aligned with your true potential. So commit to making self-assessment a non-negotiable part of your routine. Put it on your calendar, set a reminder on your phone, and stick to it. Your future self will thank you. Okay, let's dive into principle number 2, self-awareness. This one is huge. I truly believe that self-awareness is the key that unlocks the door to personal growth. It's about understanding your emotions, not just what you're feeling, but why you're feeling it. It's about recognizing your triggers, those things that set you off and send you spiraling. And it's about knowing your strengths, those things you're naturally good at, the talents that come easily to you, and your weaknesses, those areas where you might struggle, where you have room to grow. Self-awareness is about being able to step outside of yourself and observe your thoughts and actions with a sense of objectivity and compassion. It's about understanding how your words and actions impact the people around you. Now, developing self-awareness isn't always easy. It takes practice. It takes a willingness to be honest with yourself, even when it's uncomfortable. But the payoff is huge, because the more self-aware you become, the more control you have over your life. You're no longer a passenger in your own journey, reacting to every bump in the road. You're the driver. You're making conscious, intentional choices that are aligned with your values and goals. Think of it like this. Imagine you're driving down the highway and you're not paying attention to the road. You're distracted, looking at your phone, messing with the radio, whatever. You're not really present. Now, you're probably going to end up somewhere, but it's probably not going to be where you intended to go. You might miss your exit, take a wrong turn, who knows. But when you're self-aware, when you're present and paying attention, you're in the driver's seat. You see the road ahead clearly, you're aware of the obstacles and detours, and you're able to make adjustments as needed to stay on course. So how do you cultivate more self-awareness in your life? It starts with paying attention. Start noticing your thoughts and feelings throughout the day. What triggers your stress response? What makes you feel happy and energized? What types of situations bring out the best in you? What types of situations bring out the worst? Journaling can be a powerful tool for self-discovery. Over time, you'll start to see patterns emerge. You'll start to understand your triggers, your reactions, and your default settings. All right, let's talk about reflection. This is where the real magic happens. Reflection is the process of looking back on your actions, your decisions, your experiences, both the good and the bad, in order to learn and grow. It's about taking the time to really process what happened, why it happened, and what you can do differently next time. Jim Rohn, the motivational speaker, once said, "You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight." And I love that quote because it's so true. Reflection is what gives you the ability to course correct, to change direction, so you're always moving toward your goals, even when you make mistakes. Think of it like this. Imagine you're baking a cake. You follow the recipe carefully, you measure everything precisely, you put it in the oven at the right temperature, but when you take it out, it's a complete disaster. It's sunken in the middle, it's burnt on the edges. It's just a mess. Now you could just throw your hands up in the air, give up on baking forever, and order takeout. Or you could take a step back, reflect on what might have gone wrong, and try again. Maybe you realize you forgot to add the baking powder, or maybe you accidentally set the oven temperature too high. Whatever the reason, by reflecting on the experience, you gain valuable information that will help you do better next time. The same is true for life. Every experience, every interaction, every success, every failure, it's all data. It's all valuable information that we can use to learn and grow, but only if we take the time to reflect. So how do you actually make reflection a part of your daily life? Again, it's simpler than you might think. Subscribe to my channel. Each video gives you time to reflect or set aside a few minutes each day. Maybe it's first thing in the morning as you're sipping your coffee. Find a quiet space where you can be alone with your thoughts, grab your journal, and ask yourself some reflective questions. What went well today? What didn't go so well? What did I learn today? How can I show up as a better version of myself tomorrow? You can also use reflection to celebrate your wins. Take some time each day to acknowledge your accomplishments, no matter how small they might seem. Did you finally finish that project you've been putting off? Did you have a really great conversation with a loved one? Did you stick to your workout routine all week? Celebrate those wins. Remember, reflection is not about dwelling on the past or beating yourself up for your mistakes. It's about learning from your experiences so you can move forward with more wisdom, more clarity, and more intention. Make reflection a non-negotiable part of your daily routine, and watch as your self-awareness, your decision-making skills, and your overall happiness skyrocket. Okay, let's talk about feedback. I know, this one can be a little tough to stomach sometimes. Nobody likes to be criticized, right? But here's the thing, feedback is a gift. It's a chance to see ourselves more clearly, to identify our blind spots, and to get unstuck from patterns that are no longer serving us. Think about it. We all have blind spots. We all have things about ourselves that we can't see, no matter how hard we try. Maybe it's a bad habit that we're completely oblivious to, or maybe it's a negative thought pattern that's holding us back. Whatever it is, these blind spots can keep us stuck in a rut, preventing us from reaching our full potential. That's where feedback comes in. Feedback is like having a trusted friend, mentor, or coach hold up a mirror and say, "Hey, I see this thing that you're doing and it might be holding you back." Have you ever thought about it this way? Now, I'm not talking about cruel or judgmental criticism here. That kind of feedback is never helpful. I'm talking about constructive feedback, feedback that's given with love and a genuine desire to help you grow. This type of feedback can be incredibly valuable, but only if we're open to receiving it. It takes courage to open ourselves up to feedback, to be vulnerable and admit that we don't have all the answers. But trust me, the rewards are worth it. So how do you become more receptive to feedback? First and foremost, you have to be willing to let go of your ego. Remember, feedback is not a personal attack. It's not about you as a person. It's about your actions, your behaviors, and how you're showing up in the world. When you receive feedback, try not to get defensive. Take a deep breath, listen to what the other person has to say, and ask clarifying questions if you need to. The goal here is to understand their perspective, not to argue or defend yourself. And here's a pro tip. Don't just wait for feedback to come to you. Actively seek it out. Ask your boss for feedback on your performance at work. Ask your friends and family members for honest feedback on your relationships. The more feedback you're willing to receive, the more self-aware you'll become. Remember, feedback is a gift. It's an opportunity for growth, for learning, and for becoming the best version of ourselves. Listen, celebrating the small wins is so important because it helps us stay motivated and build momentum. When we take the time to acknowledge and appreciate our progress, no matter how small it might seem, it gives us the fuel we need to keep going. When you focus on celebrating the small wins along the way, it breaks down that big, scary goal into smaller, more manageable steps. So how do you actually celebrate the small wins? It doesn't have to be anything big or fancy. It could be as simple as taking a few minutes to acknowledge your accomplishment and give yourself a pat on the back. You could even treat yourself to something small, like a cup of coffee from your favorite cafe or a new book. The important thing is to find a way to celebrate that feels good to you and that helps you savor the moment. Don't let these small wins pass you by without acknowledging them. They are the stepping stones that will lead you to your biggest goals. But through it all, remember to celebrate the small wins. They are the fuel that will keep you going when the going gets tough, and they will remind you that you are capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. So what are you waiting for? Go out there and crush your goals one small win at a time. If you found this video useful to you, share, like, and subscribe.